Be known by our love is the first hymn. That's where we play. Is at the top of the second page.
Good morning, and welcome everyone. My name is Martha Curtis. I use the pronouns she, her, and I am part of the Sunday Services Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. To me, as a dancer, the experience of performing brings a heightened sense of presence. The collective presence of an audience is something we can all feel. This communal experience is a fine example of flourishing together, which happens to be our monthly theme, Soul Matters. This Sunday's service, which is called the Question Jar Drag Edition, we have the special opportunity to meet and learn from a very accomplished performer, Ms. Deja Vatan. Let's welcome her. She is with us for the third time. May we awaken our curiosity as we learn from the unique practices and experiences of Ms. Vatan. I hope you all have brought some good questions for the question jar. There will be another chance to add questions during a time for all ages with Chelsea Bentley. Here at UUCGT, we practice radical welcome and inclusion. What you bring and who you are enriches us all. We welcome people of every background, identity, and age, and we extend that special welcome to families with small children. The sounds of young voices and various rustlings bring joy to our shared experience, and the children are the future. So we are so glad you are here this Sunday, whether in the sanctuary or online. If you're visiting with us today or have not been here in a while, we'd love to get to know you. We invite you to stand and introduce yourself if you are comfortable. Someone will bring a mic. It's Diane. Diane will bring a microphone to you so everyone can hear you. And if you prefer not to speak, that's okay too. Are there any visitors today?
Hi, I'm Sarah. This is my family, Lance, my husband, and June and Evelyn, and we have never been to any church before, but we're really struggling to look and find people who share the same warmth, values, and inclusion that we're trying to teach our kids. And I learned a little bit about the Unitarian Universalist Church last couple weeks and figured this would be a good place to start. Thanks for having us.
Woo! You are so very welcome.
Hi. Wow, that's loud. My name is Linda Baines. I'm from Cadillac. And last week, Cadillac First Congregational Church celebrated our Pride. And I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with you. So thank you.
Any other visitors? We got one over there. Yes. Oh.
I brought some of my friends today. Some of them have played here before, but some of them have not. So I'm going to introduce them to you. Carolyn Collins, who's played here many times, sometimes with Kim Greavy. Betsy Taylor, who's played here before. Carrie Ospa, who's a member. Jan Ostrowski, who's also played here many times. She's come from Suttons Bay today. Kate Fleischman, who's played here once before. Chris Potter is a cellist who's played here once before, and Gary Potter is piano, and that's her husband, and he's never played here before, but we welcome him. You'll like his contributions. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Couple more.
Hi, I'm Alisa. I'm just retired from the University of Michigan, and my husband and I are relocating here. But I've been a member of a UU church in Ann Arbor for over 30 years, and I'm in an active women's group there. So I'm very excited about this congregation.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm John Van Camp. I'm originally from Romeo, Michigan, but then worked in Detroit for 45 years. Retired and went to Venice, Florida. I'm a member of the Unitarian Church in Venice, Florida, and lead their social justice team.
Welcome. Any more? So during the coffee hour, there will be, and I've seen them, yellow mugs for visitors and newcomers. So grab one, and that way we can know who you are and get acquainted with you. Later in the service, we will share joys and concerns of our community. You're invited to write yours in the book on your left, and they'll be read by a member of the Care Committee, Margaret Wozniak. You're also welcome to light a candle for your joy or concern at any point during the service. There are many announcements in your order of service in the insert, so check them out because this place is hopping and there's lots going on. And now we have Dan Tholen, who is going to make a few important announcements.
Okay, good morning. First of all, right after the service today, we're going to have our annual meeting. We do this once a year, the annual membership meeting for those of you who are members who joined longer ago than last week. So please, after the service, go get your coffee, and chat a little bit, and then in about 20 minutes, come back in here, and we'll do the meeting won't take more, I don't think, than a half an hour. If you must leave early, if you're a member and must leave early, please pick up a ballot. We have to vote, we have to have a quorum, and so we're going to keep track of who voted, not how you voted. There's not a whole lot of choices, but we do need to get your name on a ballot so we can assure that we have a quorum. Thank you for that.
On your way back in, pick up the ballot and get your name checked off.
Right. Thank you, Rick.
Childcare is provided.
Child care is provided.
Yes.
Okay. One more point. I've been giving the updates on our selection of an interim minister, and those of you who read the Flash saw the announcement and the biography of our Dan Fry, Reverend Dan Fry, who will be starting here in September. His first service will be September 13, I think, but he'll be coming into town sometime in August to try to get to know us and the community a little bit. If you've read the story, you see that he's got a very compelling story, having worked for many years as an attorney, primarily for organizations that service the visually impaired. And now in his mid-late 50s, he's turned to the ministry and has recently graduated with his theology degree. This was all in the biography. And he has been totally blind since he was 14 years old. And what wasn't in the story was one small bit about the fact he was orphaned when he was 11, raised by grandparents who didn't fully appreciate the capabilities of people who were blind. But he did go to a school and who helped him, found a teacher who helped him find his voice, and we're going to see the result of that. So we're very excited to have Reverend Fry coming. And again, if you have any questions, let us know, and any issues, please talk to Charlie, who's had most of the contact with Dan and anybody else on the board. But that's it now, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, and special thanks to the Interim Search Committee and all those who helped with this process. I know it was quite rigorous.
If I can say one more thing,
right then. Now, let's take a deep breath. Gently set aside those distracting thoughts. Silence all electronic devices so we can be fully present with one another as we flourish together. Let's worship. Oh, and this is an ensemble called No Excuses.
No excuses, but clearly a lot of hard work and practice. Thank you so much for your beautiful music this morning. Whoever you are and wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex, the minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And welcome to this service in celebration of drag. I want to extend a special welcome to our guest minister this morning, Miss Deja Vuitton, who is joining not only in this year's service, but has been our guest for the last 2 years where we've had you as our guest, and to hold space for drag in this important time in our country and in our world right now. So just profound gratitude to have you with us. And so as we settle in, I invite you to hear these words from the religious educator, Tim Atkins. Blessed are the fabulous, for they remind the world that life is meant to be lived in color. Blessed are the brokenhearted, for they will find chosen family to hold them together. Blessed are the drag queens, the femmes, the butches, the bears, the twinks, and all and everything between. for they show us the endless creativity of love. Blessed are those who have been told they are too much, for they will discover they are exactly enough. Blessed are the lovers who kiss on sidewalks, for they make the streets holy ground. Blessed are the ones who glitter, who dance, who vogue, who sing off-key in karaoke bars, for theirs is the kingdom of joy. Blessed are the elders who paved the way, for we follow in the freedom of their work. Blessed are the young ones still figuring it out, for the world is wide enough for all they are becoming. And blessed are we, the whole queer family, for love is our birthright and joy our inheritance. We'll go now to Nastasia for lighting the chalice.
As we light the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, may it be a beacon light during these times of great chaos. Please join me in reading our covenant words found on the back of your order of service. I'm accountable for me, you're accountable for you. In community, we hold each other through joy and conflict. We openly welcome all as we respond to the needs of the world. And now may we enter a time of stillness.
And now, you are welcome to stand or sit as we sing this hymn together.
Good morning. Do you want to bring a chair up for Deja for the story? Thank you. Hi, I'm Chelsea Bentley. I'm the Director of Lifelong Learning here at UUCGT. I want to invite all of our kids, young and young at heart, to come forward for our story this morning. And this is an all-ages service, so we will hang out up here on the carpet. I've got a couple activities for y'all. So Miss Deja's going to read our story this morning, and then we have our special song.
Good morning, everyone. How are we all? Good. Alrighty, so we are going to read today, "'Twas the Night Before Pride." "'Twas the night before Pride, a warm evening in June. All the people got ready with the rise of the moon. The drag queens all brushed their wigs with great care, and the bikers checked their tires to make sure they had air. All across the city, people's outfits were planned and instruments polished to the queer marching band. My mom told us all we should go to bed early. She's that kind of mom who's more boy than girly. While Mama finished packing our snacks in a bag, Sammy started chewing on the edge of our flag. As I finished my sign, which I laid on the floor, I remembered the pride I'd been to before. All day we will walk in the streets up and down, pride one for all, best celebrations around. There are floats and loud music and rainbows and glitter. Last year we ran into our babysitter. Tomorrow will be baby Sammy's first pride. Can we tell the whole story? I hopefully cried. So we sat on the couch, a mom on each side, and took turns telling the tale of our very first pride. A long time ago, in 1969, there wasn't a pride march. It was a less fair time. Queer people all over, of each shape and size, didn't have their rights recognized. So much of their lives they had to keep hidden. Even their clothing was sometimes forbidden. Stonewall was a place where it was safe to be proud, but police would storm in to say this wasn't allowed. So one hot night in June, people stopped being quiet. They decided to fight, and they started a riot. More and more gathered to fight back in the heat. Some started a kick line in the middle of the street. Police broke up the crowd night after night, but the people stood strong, knowing this wasn't right. And so it began, a march that spread worldwide to show everyone it's good to have pride. It sometimes happens we're not given respect. It can take a long time for some to accept. That's why every year we all get together and march in the streets no matter the weather. To know that we matter, to show all we exist, and that any opposition we must always resist. So pride's not just about tutus and rainbow suspenders, it's about rights for queers and all our beautiful genders. Pride's a day that is crowded, it's a day that is long, It's a day that means together we are strong. As I closed my eyes, I thought of Pride's past. Pride means to me being yourself. It's a blast. So tomorrow I will march with my family and cheer. Happy Pride to all. It's great. My family is here. Well, that's that. Did you guys like that one? Yeah.
All right, if everyone would like to stand as you're willing and able, we have a quick song that we do every year during our drag service. So this is the hips on the drag queen, so you gotta get ready to move your hips. It's to the tune of the Wheels on the Bus. The words are on the screen, along with some really fabulous illustrations, because this comes from a book. All right, so first we're starting with the hips. The hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 the hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. All through the town, shoes, the shoes on the drag queen go stomp, stomp, stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The shoes on the drag queen go stomp, stomp, stomp. All through the town, shoulders, the shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, 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 shimmy. The shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. All through the town, fingers, the fingers on the drag queen go snap, 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 snap. Snap, 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 the fingers on the drag queen go snap, snap, snap. All through the town, and the dance of the drag queen goes twirl, 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 twirl. Twirl, 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 the dance of the drag queen goes twirl, twirl, twirl. All through the town. Thank you, my friends. Happy Pride.
Thank you.
And kiddos, if you would not mind helping collect questions. So if you have a question for Miss Deja and you did not already put it in the box, if you could hold it up and the kids will come collect them.
Well, all right then. It's now time for the offering. It is your generosity that sustains this congregation. UUCGT receives no funding from outside sources. This offering is an affirmation of something we value. Today, the ushers will pass baskets with two sides. One side supports the life and mission of this congregation. The other supports the needs in the community, including local food programs, shelters, services for those most vulnerable, and social justice initiatives. You can also give by using the options on the screen. This is my Vanna White moment. You can also, if you give by check, online or through the app, please make sure to note on the memo line or somewhere whether your gift is your pledge, for community needs, or for a special collection. If this is your first time with us, please be our guest and let those baskets pass. Your presence is gift enough. Every gift, large or small, is received with deep gratitude. We now gratefully receive this morning's offering.
It's the time in our service where we pause to hold what has been shared, the joys, the concerns, the milestones and moments of this gathered community. If anything feels too heavy to carry alone, please reach out to a member of the congregational care team. You can identify us by the purple ribbons on our name tag. We have this mantra we like to say during this time of the service. It's none of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. Let's do it again. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. Here is what has been shared with our community today. A message from Anne Marie Jones, our beloved director of music. She is okay with a minor neck injury from a car accident with a deer on Friday. Her doctor says she should be good as new very soon. From Kim Greeby, a joy. A group of excited teens and 2 chaperones have just departed from Chicago. The My Block, My Hood, My City group will arrive today around 4 p.m. for the opening barbecue. For those inclined to pray, we could use a little help on Tuesday. Hiking the Sleeping Bear Dunes in the rain is not fun. Thanks to so many of you who help this to happen each year. And now, let us hold a moment of stillness for what remains in the silence of our hearts.
Now is the time in our service for our stone meditation. Perhaps there's something that's really heavy on your heart that you're coming here needing to let go of, or perhaps you have a joy that you're just so excited to share with those that are gathered. Come as you feel moved. Grab a stone and place it here in our bowl of water as the music plays.
the shape of justice, whose holds me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Well, we've come to the time that most people have been really excited and waiting for. The candle fell over and is leaking wax on the pride flag. Somehow we'll survive, right? I just want to say again what a gratitude it is to have you with us, Ms. Deja. Again, the third time this year. We have a wonderful set of some questions that have been asked from the audience. And what I think is just so cool about this is a sermon like this, there's no preparation. There's just kind of raw honesty and truth. And so I just really appreciate that you make yourself available to us for earnest questions like this. And again, it's a deep honor to have you with us.
Thank you.
So our first question for you, this is the third year you have taken part in this service. Things have gotten darker in this country. What good things have you experienced recently?
Let's see. Let's first talk about the first thing, and things have gotten darker, in our world, and our days, and our weeks. But I think everyone who's here is here for a reason, and they're here because they've shown up for themselves first. And I think showing up for ourselves and being able to hold our truth and speak our truth out into the world also gives those around us who doesn't have a voice. I always kind of have, especially with our Up North Pride Board, kind of said that I like to think of myself as kind of a glitter gopher, and I like to do the digging to find out what's going on all around and what's happening around. And I think that showing up for ourselves first helps show up for others around us who don't have a voice. I choose to show up for myself first because I know there's many people around me who will not show up with their own voice because they're too scared of the repercussion of showing up with their own voice. But I have broad enough shoulders to show up for them and for myself. So I think the biggest thing of the change is I have seen more people showing up for themselves, showing up for the youth, showing up for our trans brothers and sisters to show that we are all here and we all have a purpose of being here. We all have a purpose of being on this world. And without all of us, including our LGBTQIA2S individuals in this world, the world is not going to go round. And the biggest thing that I've seen, especially showing up for our youth are going to wind up being our leaders. So if we do not show up for our youth right now, so they feel safe, they feel involved, they feel heard, some kids in this day and age just need a smile to know that you see them and you see them for who they are standing in front of them. There doesn't have to always be words spoke. There doesn't always have to be a lesson taught or a lesson given. Just showing up for yourself lets them allow them to show up for themselves. And that's one thing that I have seen more prevalently lately is people are showing up and they are speaking up, not only for themselves, but for their neighbors, for the kids. And I think that's important, and that's something that we need to keep doing moving forward.
So here's a question on your favorite song to dance to that brings you joy and that holds an important memory.
Probably one song that I enjoy. I come from a background, I'm a theater major. I'm also a former Walt Disney World cast member. So I have grown up in the theater my whole entire life. And with that, I am lucky enough to be a child of a mother and a father who is a veteran who follows me and goes with me to my shows, and my dad builds my sets for my competitions. And I am one of the few, I can say, lucky ones that has that support. And my mom kind of just brings in all of the rest of the queens and the kings and the in-betweens to be able to be her family, and she protects everyone dearly like she does myself. But my kind of mantra song is This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. It's something that I do every Pride, and you'll hear on like Facebook groups like, please don't do them cliche shows this year. Please don't do them songs that everyone's heard 1,000 times. But there's two reasons why I do the song. One, I do it because it's something that resonates with me and I feel it through my whole entire soul and body. But two, it's also because it's my mother's favorite song, and every time I perform, she sits and cries while I perform, because it's our song that puts the two of us together, to know that not only does she see me as myself and my full truth as Dale, which is my surname, but she also accepts me and sees me as her daughter, as Deja as well too. And that's one song that puts both of that together for me.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. How do you deal with mean comments? And this is coming from a 10-year-old non-binary kid who likes to wear dresses.
So I believe that we had a conversation when I first came in here today, and I think that, growing up in this day and age, there's going to be bullies out there. I was bullied through school. I spoke about this the first year that I was here, and we kind of talked about my history and my background. I had, we'll be honest, I was almost killed 9 times in school, going through school, by bullies in school. And I lived my life in fear in public school. And I knew that I was different. I knew that something was rightfully so different, not a fear of being different, but that there was something inside me that did not resonate with the average sports child, sports male that was there. And I think that we have to understand that bullies are going to be there. I have 2 Facebook pages for myself that are very separate. I have my life, that's like my work life, all of that, and then I have my show life, which is being on stage, advocating, and I share one, whoever I'm speaking from, to the other, to make sure that it's visible on both sides. And I myself had a very long time, and I've spoke on this before previously too, I kept Dale very separate, and I kept Deja very separate. Deja was kind of the show, the stage, the loud one, the extrovert, where Dale was more kind of the introvert, the quiet one. And it took me a very, very long time to understand that I am one entity and one human being. And so I actually, as Dale, go by he, him, they, and as Deja, I go by she, her, they, because they resonates me as a human being to know that I am one body and I am one gender of my human gender. And for that fact, I think that bullies are always going to be there. It's how we rectify the situation and how we, as in this congregation, show up for this 10-year-old child and let them know that they are appreciated and they are loved, and you can wear whatever you want to wear when you want to wear it. Because there's days that, you know what, I'll wear a sundress too because it's hot-o. It's hot-o. And I might not have all this on, and I might not have everything on, but you have every right to wear what you want to wear. And I see you. And it's okay. It's okay to do all that. And it's okay to speak your truth. And it's okay for you to know that there's always going to be somebody out there who's not going to like you, but they don't have to like you because everyone in this room loves you, and that's the difference. You don't have to be liked. You can be friendly with people, but you don't have to be friends with everybody. You can allow people in, and if they don't work with you and they don't work with your insides and your feelings, you can let them people back out. That's why doors are 2 ways. There's an in and there's an out. And you can let them bullies walk away. It's hard. It's hard, and it's very hard to understand that feeling, and it's hard to be sitting in that moment. And there's times that I have to sit in them hard feelings where I am a fixer. I am a huge fixer of any problem I will try to fix. Sometimes we can't. We just have to sit in that feeling of it will be okay, and these people around here and your family and your mom, they'll show up for you. But as long as you show up for your true self, that's what matters first. I know she did. I know she did. And that's what you and I talked about in the corner over there.
Beautiful. This is a great follow-up in a way. Do you have advice to a parent raising a gender non-conforming child?
Yes, so this is a big thing that is kind of up and coming as well too, and there's kind of a side thing to this as well too, which is something that's very cool in our area up here. We actually have, since I was here last year, I now have become the executive secretary of Up North Pride. So I am now the executive secretary of Up North Pride with Chelsea. So I am now on the board there. So with that being said, before I get into this part, we actually do have a parent-to-parent counseling group that we are starting. The first one is Tuesday at F&M Park. And if you're worried about childcare, we have that also taken in control and have childcare for you as well too. The biggest thing, listen to your child. Actively listen to your child. There is a difference. There's a difference of listening and then you not understanding, so you're just taking the parts that you understand in. And there's also the part to actively listen to what your child needs. If they feel safe, if they feel heard, if they feel respected, they're going to open up more to you, to the needs that they need, which are then going to fill you as a parent to know how to help your child. My mom did everything. My mom did self-help books. She did not understand. I'm local to there. I grew up in East Jordan my whole entire life. And my mom did everything. I went to the hospital. I was hospitalized for a month because my mom did not understand what was going on with me while I was being bullied. But when my mom and I actually had the hard conversation of who, what, where, when, and why, of who I was, that's when it changed for my mom and I. So I think a lot of times we allow our friends tell us, your child shouldn't do that. Our friends or people we are friendly with allow us to change the rhetoric of how we should parent a child. But how you parent your child is the way that you parent your child. And if you're showing up for them and you're listening to them and you're actively hearing them and trying to get them the support that they need, you know, a lot of people are so worried about, oh, I don't want my child to go to counseling. I don't want my child to do this. No, you want them to do that. You want to be able to build the strength from the inside so they can come to you and say, this is not right and this is wrong. And you as a parent are allowed to show up for them and fight for them, whether it be the school, whether it be the bus, wherever it may be. Your child needs to be heard. They need to be heard. They need to see a smile. They need to feel the softness. Because when we are unsure about something, we have a very hard exterior on us, so the child will never open up because they're afraid that you don't know the answer, but you're not supposed to know the answer. We all don't know the answers. So for that fact, as a parent, you also do your research. You do parent-to-parent meetings. You reach out to pride groups. You reach out to Planned Parenthood. You reach out to PFLAG. All of these different groups that are coming along to be able to get the support you need, to be able to have that open conversation with your child, so then the child feels heard and can then flourish and become their own individual.
Tell us, Deja, how you know when you have found a welcoming place.
So I'm kind of a go-getter. I'm kind of gonna go anywhere and sit in anywhere because again, I believe in that whole friendly and friend atmosphere that I can go in because again, a door is two ways, and I can leave if I don't feel welcome in that setting. For me, I spoke on this the first time I was here. I was raised evangelical Lutheran. I was not okay for me to be who I was and be a queer child in the church. I may have left church when I graduated high school and wore leather pants and a see-through top the last day I was in church, but that's neither here nor there. And I grew up on a church that was on our family commune. So my grandmother's house was here, my uncle's house was here that had the farm. The church was on the property, and so when you misbehaved, you just got to go to grandma's, so I chose to misbehave more because I just got to get out of the situation I did not want to be in because I allowed myself to leave. But for that fact, when I went to Florida and I moved to Florida, I typed in online, I literally typed in, I needed something more. And I've spoken on this before, I don't believe that church or worship or spirituality is locked into four walls. I believe that is your entity and how you bring it in and allow others to bring in their retrospect of what you might feel is right, but you accept others' feelings of what they feel is right without telling them it's wrong, because to them, yours might also be wrong. But if you can listen to each other. But I found a Catholic Lutheran church in Florida, and when I walked up to the door, I had two ladies who were both in their 90s who had rainbow pins on both of their coats, and I knew in that moment that not only was I greeted when I walked up, and I was hugged when I walked up. I feel that we get so caught up in that, don't touch, don't, keep distance, keep away from each other, and I feel that a smile goes a very long way. Just seeing somebody seeing you, even in a place that you might feel uncomfortable in, if you can see that smile or that glance to feel that you're actually seen in that moment, that's where I feel welcoming comes to. And if I don't see that, or I don't feel that, or there's that cold shoulder because we ourselves are scared of something different, so we're choosing to allow that energy to come out, I think that that's the important part of smiling and seeing and having others feel safe with you, so then you also feel safe in the new environment that you may be placing yourself in, which may be some of you today here in this environment. And I think that showing up today shows not only you, but family members and friends that we can do things that are a little different and that it's not all scary, but also we have the right to go if it does not fit within our makeup of ourselves and our feelings for ourselves.
Thank you. You know, we know a lot about your drag life. However, we have a question about your outside of drag life. What non-drag hobby is helping you to flourish right now?
Non-drag hobby is helping me to flourish. So I actually I own 2 pageant systems outside of drag and outside of being a CCMA for a private DO as well as a first responder. I own 2 pageant systems. They're through East Jordan. I still work in my hometown because I believe that my presence being there allows other queer teens to see that I struggled and I still stand in this town and I still raise money for this town because I have other, as I call my queer babies, I have other queer babies that I have to watch and I have to keep in my circle, and their family also lets me know, like, I need you to please watch this child as well too, which that's something that I get joy from, is watching the kids grow up. But I own, we kind of have the Freedom Festival, which is like our 4th of July festival, and myself and another one of my friends, we run the Miss East Jordan, or the Little Firecracker pageant, which is part of our Freedom Festival, but we don't do it as a scholarship program, we do it as an ambassadorship program, so the kids get to learn and be raised within the chamber, so the chamber can hear the voices of the children, of what the children need for themselves in their town, instead of us adults going and telling the chamber what our child wants. I allow the kids to speak for themselves, not only in the pageant, but also at a chamber meeting to say what they would like to see done with their town. And then that goes into being on the board for Miss East Jordan, which is actually the scholarship college for pageants itself, which we do every year. And I think that for me is something that allows me to still be in the youth, but be visible to the youth so they can see myself and my husband. And it's kind of funny that our whole kind of committee is a full queer committee that's there. So it's nice because I think that we do have some parents that come in and they're like, oh, you have this your husband? I'm like, that's my husband, this is my husband. And then my co-partner, Honora, she's in a polyamory relationship who has a husband and a wife as well too. So it's like, it's allowing kids to be free with themselves. It's allowing the community to see that we are still thriving in the community as well too, but I also get to watch these kids grow up, and then I get to hand them off as a senior if they go to the senior division for the pageant as well too. So it's kind of a humbling thing for me to be able to see them from age 5 up till age 16.
We have a very practical, down-to-earth question.
Okay.
Where do you find comfortable shoes?
Where do I find comfortable shoes? Well, Amazon is my best friend. And I have also learned that there are lots of styles of performing. There are lots of styles of drag. You will not see me in higher than a 3-inch heel because I know my back and I know my body. And a lot of the other queens will laugh and be like, oh, you're going to wear your biscuit heels today? You're very well sure I'm going to wear my biscuit heels today because I know my back, I know my body. And so, but I use a lot of dance, being a background of dance, lyrical ballet, tap and jazz. I use a lot of dance companies as well too for shoes that have the extra support, have the extra bridge, all these different things, especially, you know, being in heels some days, 12 hours a day, for that fact. But if pants are long enough, I mean, flats are fine. If pants are long enough, I'll rhinestone the front of a flat and you'll never even know that there's not a heel on the back of it, especially if I'm walking in a parade.
So we have a question about basically making money. Is the work of a drag queen lucrative enough, or do you need a day job?
Oh, you need a day job. You need a day job for sure. So, as I said, there's many forms of drag, and I do a lot of pageant drag. So I choose pageants to represent Northern Michigan. We've talked about this before. My husband and I are now the owners of the National Showgirl System, which is just as it sounds, like the big Vegas-style showgirl backpacks, costumes, performances. I travel all over. With that, I can say a pageant for me is about $10,000 to $12,000 for a pageant, and then if you win about $500, $600, and then you get to go, be around. But I think for me, the day job also keeps me grounded into myself, into what my family needs, into what my husband and I's needs are. Some don't, though. Some don't have day jobs. And I kind of, I have a lot of friends who, there's 5, 6 queens that live in one, honestly, 2-bedroom apartment because they don't know how to be out into the real world. They're afraid to be out in the real world, to be criticized, to be ostracized. So they just try to get as many shows as they can get. And, nowadays, shows aren't like when you go to like a theater show or a Broadway show. We're not talking hundreds of dollars a show. We're talking like $25, $75 a show. And then there's tips and there's, all of that as well too. But, they just do all of these gigs all around to just make enough to pay bills to keep themselves with food, on their table. So you definitely have to do a day job, and I do it for myself just to keep myself grounded as my entity and human being. And I love healthcare and I love first responding, so it also still gives my back to the community as well too.
So this is a question from a scared non-binary person.
Okay.
How can we navigate attacks and loss of rights for trans, genderqueer, and gender non-conforming communities right now?
I think the biggest thing, and I get that, and I want to say one part of this first, is the fact that this person is scared and living in a scared feeling. And I think that's where this person needs all of us also to show up behind this person, because we, as in this congregation, the ones who are here today, are the ones who are giving the backbone to these queer individuals so they feel heard, they feel seen. Things are happening all over, but we have to understand that this is not the first time that these things have happened. And because of our ancestors before us, they have fought and got us to this point now. We are now backpedaling back, but we have us who are here are these young queer ancestors who have to give them the backbone to be able to speak up for themselves, to find people who will help them have a voice. And that person might not be the one with the voice, but that person might need somebody to have the safety for them to be able to speak to, so then you can speak for that person because you show up to that person as someone who is a leader to them. And like I said before, we've been through this before. We've been down this road before. All buildings are made with bricks for a reason, because they're able to be thrown. And for that fact, it will happen again if it goes that way, to the fact. And I feel that, yes, it's scary, and yes, there's the unknown, and yes, there's that horrible feeling in our stomach, but there's enough of us who will not sit down and will not bow our heads and will not stay quiet, that will be able to stand back up and will get us through this time, so that our new, younger queer generation will get to live their queer joy because of us who are sitting here right now, who are their ancestors, to help give them the backbone to have a voice, like we have all had before us with our ancestors.
Wow. We're down to our last couple of questions.
Okay.
What is the biggest misunderstanding about being a drag queen?
I think the biggest misunderstanding about being a drag queen is a lot of times, the biggest thing I see, especially when we have shows and we put these shows out, and it's the same people on the same post, it's the same man and the same woman that always have to make the same comment on every flyer that I have. Everyone wants to talk about how kids shouldn't be at these shows. And like I've said before, there are many versions of drag. There are many hours that drag happen on. And if you as a parent are concerned about taking your child into a bar at 11 p.m., then I'm concerned for you as a parent that you want to take your child into a bar at 11 p.m. when they should be in bed, where I also want to be, but I'm here to put on a show. So that's one thing. But with that, I think that drag gets put into this, and pride, I think it's two things. Drag gets put into this like, oh, they're strippers, oh, they're adult performers, oh, they're this. And just like theater has language, theater has explicit costumes, theater has nudity, And everyone puts it in this bad genre of not looking at it as theater, because that same person would probably go to New York and watch a show and be perfectly fine with what was ever happening there. But because it's happening in their town, in their bar, they don't want to see it. But whenever I go to anything like this, or I go out to Pride, or I know it's an all ages show, I always tell my cast, please be mindful of what you're wearing. Please be mindful of what we're saying on the microphone. And please be mindful of the amount of cussing that happens on the microphone at these shows, because I feel that there are places that the youth is allowed to be at. But I also feel that at bars, no. I mean, and that's coming from a performer. And I think that there's that hard rhetoric, and Pride is that way too. The only thing that TV puts out for Pride is nudity, hardly any clothes on, dancing in the street with a hose getting soaking wet. I mean, it's hot sometimes. It's over 100 degrees. I mean, I 100% would get into a hose if it was that way. But for that fact, I think that the mainstream media pushes this like stripper, cabaret act, no clothes, vile language, vile costumes. But none of them people have ever even been to a drag show to see how a drag show even works in a bar. But I do feel that there is places that do have different style performances. And usually you can know by the theme of the show what you're getting yourself into when you go to the show. But I also feel for us, we have a lot of parents for, I own, on Facebook, we have Hell on Heels and Northern Michigan Drag Wives. I am the co-owner of both. And for that fact, I always tell parents to reach out to me if they want to bring their child to a brunch, because my brunches are at 10 in the morning. And if you want to bring your child, we always say yes, but I need to know so that I have the safety of my performers to say, listen, we have a parent who has a child that wants to come to a show. I need you all to be respectful of costumes, just like a stage, just like a theater performance. So I think that that's where that mainstream media has pushed it out so much of just nudity, lewd language, cabaret act, where then everyone who knows nothing about it just thinks, oh, it must be what I saw on TV, or it must be what I saw in this movie. But they don't know the real life of working in a theater, or the real life of before when women couldn't be on stage and they were all men in drag. But that's okay, but it's not okay now. But again, that's the ancestors that already did the work for us, so we're here now to be able to do the work for our youngins.
A couple of quick notes that we are very concerned for you parents about bringing your children here at 10:30 a.m. Sunday mornings. So make sure you do
fully
that.
dressed, many layers, many layers.
And then one other note, just that we have a drag story time this afternoon, actually, over at the library.
So something
right?
new that came up this year, which I'm very honored about. Once we leave here, any parents who want to do another fun activity today, I have been asked to go read at Denos Museum today to do their Pride Drag Story Hour today at Denos Museum. So they've always done a Pride, it's stories and crafts. They've always done a Pride event, but this year with Up North Pride and with Adrienne and our team, we were asked to have myself come in to do drag story time today at Denos Museum. So it's another, which is kind of a full circle for me. Like I was telling Alex, my first performance ever when I was in college was on Millikan Auditorium. And now I get to go back today and do drag story time with the kids, which is a full circle moment for me as well too. So that's from 1 to 3 today there. And so it's story time and craft for their Pride event.
So you can follow Miss Deja.
So you can follow me all day today. We're just following from place to place.
So our final question, it's kind of 3 questions in one.
Okay.
What makes life harder, and what makes life easier, and how can we help?
What makes life harder, I think, is what I have talked about this whole time today, is just the shut-offness of asking the questions. If you don't know, you have to kind of have what I call like that kindred child spirit of who, what, where, when, why. If you don't know, ask. That's like my mom works for the school district, and all the time she'd be like, well, these kids want me to call them this, or these kids want me to call them this, or these kids want me to use these pronouns. Okay, but what's the thing you just told me? These kids are asking. It's not for you. It might feel uncomfortable to you, and that's that feeling you have to sit in. But these kids, these youngins are the ones who are asking for you to acknowledge where they are in this moment. And that might not be the moment that they live in forever. And it might change. And I've had problems where I have friends who have non-binary kids who it does change. It changes daily. And I have to ask, who am I with at that moment, so I know that I can represent them and respect them. in that moment, because sometimes it might not be she, her. Sometimes it might not be they. It's in how they feel in that moment. And that is confusing. That's confusing for all of us as well, too. If you see me with all of the performers outside of drag, we still use she, her pronouns, and we still use our female persona, our name, outside of drag. So it took my mom a long time to understand, who are you talking to? That Mercedes isn't here? Yes, she is. It's Brian. Brian's over here. And so, but I think that's the one thing that is harder, in the fact that there is so much growing. There is so much evolution with gender. There is so many things, but what makes it easier is asking the question. Just showing up and asking, and you might get some pushback at first because they are so used to it coming from a negative way, where it's how you also ask the question of, how can I represent you? What are your pronouns? I mean, that's a very simple question of what are your pronouns, and then respecting it. And we all make mistakes, and we're all going to make mistakes, but a person who hears you use the pronouns that they prefer, even if you mess up, is more ample to hear you say, I'm sorry, and then use the correct pronoun, other than just not using it at all. And I think something that's easier for me, I think, is just for myself. I spent many years doing my work internally to find out who I was, what I need for myself to show up for myself first, so that I can show up for others. Again, with a fixer personality, I want to fix everyone around me, but I've noticed that a lot of times the people that come into me are my problems that I have in my own that I've not fixed in myself. So I collect people are the problems that I can talk them through their problems, but then when I get home, I'm like, oh, that's the same, I have that same problem. But I don't fix it in myself, and I've learned that when I fixed it in myself, my relationship has changed with that person, because I'm no longer trying to fix them, I'm just there with them. So I think how it becomes easier, or what help that there is out there, not just for me, but for everybody, is one, show up for yourself, have a voice for yourself first, and know who that voice is within yourself, and then also allow others to come in at their time. We can't change somebody. If somebody is going to give you only 50%, that's the only 50% that they have. Don't expect 110 and then get angry because they can't give you the other 60. They only got 50. So showing up for yourself with the percentage you have to give to that person, allow them also to only show up at the percentage that they can show up for themselves, and just be happy that you have that friendship and that connection without trying to dig for what you feel that they have more of, because they might not know that they have that more of them with them right now.
Everyone, our guest minister, Nastasia, is on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that was so joyous, wasn't it? Oh. Okay, well, we can all sing together. You can stand or sit, whatever your spirit says today.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the faith within.
lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice. Be not afraid.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the faith
Now
within.
let us
Sing to the power of the hope
Now let
within.
us
Sing to the power of the hope
lift
within.
up your voice.
Lift up your voice. Be not afraid.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the love within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
lift up your voice.
Lift up your
Be not
voice.
afraid.
Be not
Now let
afraid.
us
Sing to the power of the love
Now
within.
let us
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the joy within.
lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not
Now
afraid.
let us
Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the faith within.
I'm still a bit of a crying mess, but please, if you're willing and able, join hands with your neighbors or outstretch your hand in the symbol of please do not touch me. Did you want to offer your closing words that you had, or do you want me to extinguish, Martha?
I have the releasing of flame.
Would you like to do those?
As we release the flame, may we carry it with us as a beacon light to guide us through these complex times. And also may we carry with us the light and of the vibrant inspiration we experience today.
And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and to create the world we so desperately dream of. Only got a couple more times of saying that too. Pass the squeeze, air 5, and then please remain for our wonderful postlude, the arrival of the Queen of Sheba today.